Do you have to move to Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the pros and cons before you make that move. So let's go. If this is your first time to my channel, hit that bell button and also subscribe so I can keep you up on what's going on in the area so you can see more videos like this. Now you have to remember the pros and cons. I'm getting this from different people I sold homes to that's been living in the Fort Gregg Adams area for a long time. So they're giving me these pros and the cons of what they like when they live in this area. We're going to go with pro number one. The first one is location, location, location. You're only 2 hours away from Washington, D.C. You're 2 hours away from Virginia Beach, which is a very popular beach on the East Coast. And you're 2 hours away from the mountains. So you get a lot of different things just 2 hours away. Some of the things that's a little closer, you have Williamsburg, Virginia, which is a very popular area, tourist attraction area. You have Busch Gardens, a theme park. You have Water Country, USA. You have the outlets that's down there. You have Charlottesville, Virginia, where you have a lot of different wineries. And then you have the state capital, Richmond, which is only a good 20, 30 minutes away. So when you think about the location, I have to say that's a pro number one, location. Con number one is the inventory for the housing market is kind of low right now. I have to give that as a con number one. In 2023, inventory is low, so you might see a home that you want, but guess what? Another family might see that same home that you want, which creates a bidding war. So if you have to move to Fort Gregg Adams area, the inventory is a little low, but that's why you want a great realtor, so they can help you out to figure out what's the best house to go for and to really get these bidding wars won for you. So you definitely want to go with a great realtor like myself, so I can help you guys win some of these bidding wars, or sometimes you might not have a bidding war at all. So inventory is low, but I have to put that as a con right now when it comes to moving to Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. Pro number two is the schools. Now, Prince George County, that is the school system which is located in Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. So those schools are rated as like a B rating when it comes to niche.com or greatschools.com. As a licensed realtor, I can't tell you what I think are the best schools, but you can do your due diligence by going to these websites and figuring out what school would you like your child to go to. So when you think about the school system, yes, Prince George is rated like a B rating. And then you have some elementary schools like L.L. Beasley, for an example, that's rated like an A. So you can look and see what school systems that you might want to live in a different area. But pro number two is the school system. And a lot of people like Prince George County schools. Okay, con number two is bad drivers. A lot of people move to the area and they say that people around here cannot drive. Sometimes people come from a big city and they just feel like, oh, these people around here, they can't drive. So I had to put that as a con number two. Like I said, this is not my opinion. I'm getting this from different people that I've talked to, that I sold homes to in the area. And they say that bad drivers, they have to put that as a con. Pro number three is the food. We're not talking about food chains, but this area has a lot to offer when it comes to different foods. What's close to Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia is Hopewell, which you have a nice restaurant down there, for an example, called the Boathouse. It sits on the water, beautiful scenery, nice restaurant, good food. Right down the street, you got a place called Saucy's, where you get your ribs and chicken. So those are some popular spots in the Hopewell area. You got different restaurants. I can't name them all, but even in Petersburg, if you go to Old Town Petersburg, they have different eateries there as well. Long Street, I like that spot. It sits on the corner. They have a Mexican restaurant, an Italian restaurant. They have another place, same as they do in Hopewell, called Saucy's. And then they have a soul food spot called Croaker Spot, which is very popular. And then, of course, you can go to Richmond, to the state capital. And they have a lot of different restaurants there. You think about the Tobacco Company. You have some soul food spots there too, Southern Kitchen. And you have another Croaker spot up that way, Mama J's. Just to name a few, you have Bottoms Up Pizza. And it's a lot of different restaurants in Richmond. Just look them up. And it's some great food. So when you think of a pro number three is the food in the area. Con number three, people say there's nothing to do around here. If you're coming from a big city, you are surrounded by 3 small cities: Hopewell, Colonial Heights, and Petersburg. And people complain like there's nothing to do around here. It's a slow pace. And if you want a little nightlife, you got to go to Richmond. So that will be a con when people come. Sometimes when people come from a big city like New York, Atlanta, they feel like this area is small. So that's a con. Con number 3 is nothing to do in the area. Pro number 4, the crime rate. There's crime everywhere you go. Don't take this video and say, well, Chris said there's no crime in the area. No, someone said, and I had different people say it, that's a pro. The crime rate, poverty level is low. So that's a good pro when you think about moving to Fort Gregg Adams area. The crime is pretty low, nice. Some people feel safe. Even when you try to enter onto Fort Gregg Adams, it's a security check. So you just can't drive onto the area. You have to get your ID and stuff checked out and all of that good stuff. So that will be a pro. Pro number 4, the crime rate, poverty level is low. Number 4 con is the weather. Believe it or not, it's the weather. Some people say, when I moved to Virginia, I never had allergies, and now I'm sneezing all the time. So pollen, the different allergies that you find in Virginia, it's real. You can have different allergies. And then when it snowed in this area, it's like a holiday. Everything shuts down. You might not go to work. The kids might not go to school. We don't have the different machinery like they have in different areas, like in Northern Virginia, up north in New York. So when it's snow in the area, the schools may shut down for a couple of days. You might have to go into work 2 hours late. So the snow, that's a con, people say, along with the allergies. I love the 4 seasons, but some people don't. But I will say the con would have to be the pollen in the area and the snow. We don't get a lot of snow, but when it snows, everything shuts down. Pro number 5, affordability. You can get a house in this area of 200 plus. People like the affordability when they compare it to like New York, DC area, or even Northern Virginia. So affordability is pretty nice. A lot of times people end up retiring when they finish serving. Right here in this area, we have a lot of people that retire from Fort Gregg Adams, and a lot of people like the fact that it's affordable, they can bring their family. So we have to go with that as a pro as well, affordability. Con number 5 is the school systems that surround Fort Gregg Adams. So a lot of times people will come to the area and they feel like, oh no, we can't go to Petersburg. I hear a lot of people say that when they come to Fort Gregg Adams. We can't go to Petersburg school system. Unfortunately, the school system is at a lower rate when you go to niche.com, and same thing with Hopewell. But like I said, do your due diligence and just look at it and figure it out for yourself. But that's definitely a con that I hear a lot when people move to Fort Gregg Adams, the school system and the surrounding areas. I really, really hope this video helps you before you make that move to Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. I don't care if you're moving tomorrow. I don't care if you're moving next week, next month, next year. Please, please, please reach out to me and my team, and I would love to help you make that smooth move to Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia.